welcome along everybody for the opening round of the 2021 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. It's the NASCAR Grand Prix of Spain from Circuit Ricardo Tormo, just outside of Valencia. This has been the regular home for the Spanish round of the NASCAR Grand Prix, and we're delighted to be able to welcome fans, albeit with limited numbers, into the circuit this weekend. The drivers are busy warming up and stretching their legs for the start of a busy race weekend, but also a busy 2021 championship season. Some familiar names return to the series, some new names appear, and there are some new teams as well that are trying to get to grips with the championship. It's the same race format as in previous years. There are 2 championships. There'll be 4 races over the weekend. EuroNASCAR Pro is for the pro drivers, and EuroNASCAR 2 is for the young and the amateur drivers. Well, the circuit will be familiar to many of the drivers and the teams, and I'm sure many of you fans as well. But let's just have a look at the layout. It is a 4-kilometre or just under 2.5-mile circuit here at Ricardo Tormo. Key overtaking points, turn 2, turn 6, turn 8, and that big 650-metre straight. Nice, warm, sunny conditions for the opening round of EuroNASCAR 2. The race will be held over 15 laps. In the qualifying session, Martin Dubeck, the Czech driver at the wheel of his number 7 Hendricks Ford, popped the car onto pole position. Let's hear from our pole sitter.
Man, since you won the race last year at Zolder, you're on fire. What's the magic behind that?
Oh, so nothing changed. I have a really good teammate, so we find a really good setup for this track, and I'm so happy. So first qualifying and first pole position, so I'm really happy.
So Martin Dubeck certainly looking forward to this race, but can he convert the pole position into a race win? The next 15 laps, we'll find out. Let's look at the way the full grid lines up, though. It's Martin Dubeck that sits there on pole position. Vladimir Choitzis alongside. Tobias Dauenhauer on row number 2, but then there's a gap. Francesco Caristo should be starting 4th, but isn't there on the grid, and it's Pierluigi Fernandesi and Advait Teodora on row number 3. Buckle up, we go green for the first time in 2021. Martin Dubeck gets a fantastic start and is already starting to move over to take the normal racing line up towards Aspar, turn number 1. He leads the race. It's Tobias Dauenhauer in 2nd place, Vladimir Choitzis in 3rd, and Pierluigi Fernandesi sitting there in 4th position, as the unfortunate Caristo did indeed not start from 4th on the grid. He is starting from the pit lane. They're all safely through Dewan, starting to work their way in towards the infield technical section, up towards the right-hander at turn number 4, Nico Tirol. But it is going to be, at the moment, the number 7 Hendricks car that is out front and leading the race. Teammate to him, Tobias Dauenhauer, sitting there in 2nd position. Vladimir Choitzis in 3rd, and Pierluigi Fernandesi coming under pressure for 4th position. Advait Teodora looking to squeeze his way through, but he's under pressure from the DF1 Racing Chevy in the hands of the German driver, number 22, Justin Kuntz. Top 3 just breaking away a little bit as they head up to the highest point of the circuit, in towards the left-hander, turn 8, Bernard Martinez, where the circuit drops away on the exit. Need to be careful not to run wide there. There are a few cars in the qualifying session that lost lap times because they ran wide, and that will be also looked at in the race. Penalties will be applied if needs be. The leading 3 still pushing hard, still with Martin Dubeck, making it a Hendricks Motorsport 1-2 at this stage. It is still another Ford that sits there in 3rd place, which is the Academy Motorsport Alex Caffey machine in the hands of Vladimir Choitzis, who we go on board with. Cypriot driver pushing hard, made his debut season in the series last year, looking for the inside line on Tobias Dauenhauer, and should be able to go through on the exit of the corner. They run side by side, but Dauenhauer then has the inside line for the next of the corners, and it does look as though Choitzis, the 23-year-old Cypriot, can't quite make it stick. He finished 4th in the standings last year in his debut season in EuroNASCAR 2. He's trying to hunt down the runner-up in the championship from last year. Advait Teodora, the number 56 car there for Cal Racing, the London-based Indian, fighting away with the lead Chevy we've got in the field at this stage, which is Justin Kuntz. Justin Kuntz is just that little bit too far back at the moment to be able to do a great deal about Advait Teodora. He could do with closing up an extra couple of car lengths, and then might be able to have the opportunity to grasp the place away. Advait Teodora, great to see him back in the championship. We didn't see him last year competing. He finished 4th in the EuroNASCAR 2 standings back in 2019, and it's hopefully going to be a full season with Cal Racing again this year. If so, he is likely to be towards the sharp end throughout the whole course of the 2021 season. We go on board with Justin Kuntz, the car ahead, Advait Teodora. This is the squabble for 5th. Fantastic soundtrack the 5.7-litre V8 engine makes. All of the cars producing the same amount of horsepower, 400 brake horsepower. Snatch brake there from Justin Kuntz, needs to be careful. That's the unloaded wheel heading in towards the braking area for turn number 11. But if he's flat-spotted that tyre, it's going to keep returning to the same flat spot, and that could cause him problems. Working his way out of the left-hander, Adrian Campos, onto the start-finish line, looking to try and get a toe off the car ahead. The cars down this 650-metre straight will get to the fastest terminal speed throughout the whole course of the 2021 season. And as they head, all problems for Kuntz, it has. There's been a problem with his tyre. I wonder if it's the flat spot that's caused that tyre to fail. He's surely going to have to retire. Gets the car parked up at turn number 1, and you can see the damage it's caused to the fiberglass bodywork on that car. As the tyre had its issue, Justin Kuntz controlled the car and has pulled the car off the circuit and into a safe position. That should hopefully prevent the need for a full course caution. So now it's 3 for the lead of the race and a big old gap back to 4th position. So turning our way through Bernard Martinez once more, it looks as though Tobias Downhauer continually having to soak up the pressure from Vladimiris Choitsis, but at the moment it's still the 23-year-old German that's ahead of the Cypriot driver. Making his return to the series, Vladimiris Choitsis finished on the podium in the super speed weekends that we had here at Valencia. He is on course for another podium place, but ideally he doesn't want the 3rd step of the podium, does he? He wants to be on the top step. There goes Veronese, under pressure still from Advite Dioda. Behind those are the next couple of cars coming up here, which is going to be the car of Fabrizio Amata, who is coming under pressure now from the car that sits behind, which is Simon Palat. Look as though the number 66 Chevy is close enough to try anything as they head in towards the braking area for turn number 2. Doohan. It's still just about the 46-year-old Italian Fabrizio Amata returning to the championship, that's just hanging on to the place despite all the very best efforts of Simon Palat, the young teenage Belgian driver. Up towards the top part of the circuit, you can see now that Martin Dubek is starting to get away from this battle for 2nd place. Tobias Downhauer still under this continual pressure from the car of Vladimiris Choitsis. But at the moment, as long as Tobias Downhauer is neat and tidy getting off the corners, it's going to make it very difficult for Vladimiris Choitsis to try and unlock the door to steal 2nd place away. Heading out of turn number 11, down the short straight and towards Champieros, which is turn number 12. Great entry to this corner, very fast. Throw the car in towards the right-hander. The circuit goes from its lowest point up towards its highest point, but Choitsis is still too far back as they head up towards Adrian Campos this time through. Ford's 1st, 2nd and 3rd in this race at the moment. And well, for Choitsis, he is throwing everything at it. Gets a really good run this time on Tobias Downhauer, but still can't do anything down the big 650-metre straight. He can't quite squeeze his way through. He looks one way, up towards the braking area for Doohan. Tobias Downhauer covers off the inside line. Could Choitsis cut back on the exit? Almost. He almost got his nose up the inside of Tobias Downhauer there, but great driving from the German. Just sees him accelerate that Hendricks car with sufficient power so as to keep the Alex Caffey Academy Motorsport machine, the number 1 car, in the hands of Choitsis behind. Flicking their way out of turn 4 up towards turn 5 and then in towards the braking area for Aniel Nieto. Is this the opportunity for Choitsis? Almost. Yeah, he's now got himself alongside, and that's going to give him the inside line for Curva de l'Officion and for Bernard Martinez as well. The next 2 corners are left-handers. This is the kink, and then in towards the braking area for Bernard Martinez, and surely, yeah, that's Choitsis now up into what is 2nd position, and Tobias Downhauer down into 3rd. The difficulty for Vladimiris Choitsis will be, though, having unlocked the door and taken 2nd place away from Tobias Downhauer, he's now going to be the driver that's having to do all of the defensive work. Downhauer is not going to make it easy for the remainder of the race, but Choitsis will be looking to try and hang on to that place, and if he can, close the gap on the race leader, Martin Dubek, who is just starting to disappear up the road a little bit with all of the squabbling that's been going on. Back on board this time with the 19-year-old Greek driver, Tom Krasinas, who returns to the championship. The cars ahead are Simon Palat and Fabrizio Amata. In towards the break here for Adrian Campos, and Simon Palat's had a mistake. Off and into the gravel trap goes the DF1 Racing Chevy, and that, I'm afraid, is going nowhere. He will be out of the race. Tom Krasinas, in the meantime, continues on his merry way. Now that Tom Krasinas has gained 1 place, can he start to push and catch up on the car ahead? Good to see him back in the championship, having last competed with us in 2019. Advite Dioda ahead's got problems by the look of things. The Cal Racing machine losing places there. And I think Thomas Krasinas is closing up very easily. Again, a little puff of smoke. There is something not quite right with that Cal Racing car, and I think Advart is probably going to struggle to even get towards the tail end of this race. Yeah, through goes Tom Krasinas. Not a great deal of resistance put up. Again, that puff of smoke, and he's going to lose a further place to the number 90 car of Nave Talor, who's come from the very tail end of the field. Thomas Krasinas working hard, looking to try and hang on to the place, but through goes Nave Talor, the Israeli youngster. Now, surely he'll be on Nave Talor for the extra 4 points, having gained the most places relative to his starting position. But the driver that's going to be on for the most points, maximum points, is going to be Martin Dubeck, who is on course for his 3rd career win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, EuroNASCAR 2 division. It is a win for Martin Dubeck, claims the first win of the season. 2nd place goes the way of Vladimiras Joitsis, and Tobias Dauenhauer will complete the podium in 3rd position. A solid start to the weekend for the number 7 Hendricks car in the hands of the Czech driver. And having set the fastest lap of the race, he will also head towards pole position for the 2nd EuroNASCAR 2 race of the weekend. Let's hear from our race winner.
Yeah, I cannot say that it was easy, but not so hard. So from pole position was good. I'm very, very happy.
What do you expect for the race tomorrow?
I think I have again the fastest lap, so pole position again, and I hope it will be same race like today.
So congratulations to Martin Dubeck, to Vladimiras Joitsis and Tobias Dauenhauer, who feature on our overall podium. The win in the Rookie Trophy went the way of Alberto Panibianco. In the Legend Trophy, it went the way of the number 88 car of Max Lancer. And in the Lady Trophy, Ariana Casserly came home on top.